Hey folks, you asked for it and you got it. The blue is back. Today we're going to be discussing an interesting playset that crosses over the vintage with the modern. This is a Batcave, but it's not your daddy's Batcave. Let's check it out.
Hey kid, yeah, you. Everyone thinks toys are fun, but this is a channel for adults. Yeah, I said it. If you're under the age of 18, go get your parents before you come in here. If you're under the age of 13, scram! Let's get on with the show.
As we rapidly approach the end of the first quarter of the 21st century, we find that modern toys don't really jive scale-wise with their vintage counterparts in most cases. You have a slew of reissues. Some toy lines, most of them are independent toy lines that come along and try to give you something new that can work with the old. There's lots of artisans out there like Joe Dickerson are giving us things we never had before. But most notably, when it comes to brand new toy lines that can work with the old, it doesn't happen a ton. And whether intentional or not, the Spinmaster toy line that came out with the most recent The Batman film does kind of fill that niche a little bit. The smaller version of the toys in the line are purported to be a 4-inch scale, which, when you work with Superpowers collection figures, is right up your alley. The Batcave playset I'm about to show you fits in very nicely with the figures of that line, but also has that opening to work with Superpowers collection, Dark Knight collection, all the Kenner stuff from that era in that scale, which is amazing. You could probably even mix it in with other toy lines, just with some of the different features that come with it, depending upon what you are trying to achieve. And while there are certain kinds of companies like Click and Play that seem to specialize in giving us a wide array of vehicles and things of that nature that work with military and those types of toys like G.I. Joe, it's not often you see something come out, especially from a more or less mainstream toy company that's going to fill those kinds of needs and in a very niche way. So without further ado, let's explore Spinmaster's The Batman Batcave. One of the first things that I notice about this Batcave is that the packaging is beautiful. There's a huge plastic window. You see the majority of the parts right in the playset, which honestly is kind of rare. Something this big, I would assume you'd get in a box with maybe a window showing the figure or something like that. But Spinmaster went ahead and just showed us everything and put it on wide display with a framing device with this artwork that really works for me. That said, I've been looking at this thing in the box for a couple months now. I really want to open her up. Don't worry, Bill. I'll be careful. I see some different taping points along the box, and this is supposed to be angled here. I don't really want to wrestle with this side of the box. I'm going to choose to go with the more traditional side. But before I do, just check out this beautiful artwork and photography on the back that really showcases what you're going to get. Big ups to Spinmaster for taking full advantage of the real estate on this box. This is the inner box, which itself is taped together in several places, which really gives me some pause about the possibility of reboxing this. But I didn't buy it to display it that way, so I'm not overly concerned, but I wanted to bring it up to those of you that might be trying. There's also several of these ties that hold the toy in place, which we're going to have to cut to move forward. And for that, I recommend some good old-fashioned scissors. With that, the inner tray comes right out and reveals this motorcycle base just sitting loose. Once you do that, you've got plenty of place to take all the excess plastic out of the back, and you're left with a backdrop that could be easily used for diorama. So I wouldn't throw this away if I were you. And now the inner tray reveals everything we've got. There's a nice lab table with some gear that's being worked on, some armor, and a bat cowl. Got a computer station with decals pre-applied. Nice storage space under there. Lots of detail. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece. Here's the motorcycle that comes along with the set. It's pretty straightforward. And now we get to the figures, a Bruce Wayne Batman and a Penguin with lots of accessories. And although pretty well made with lots of articulation, I'm a little bit disappointed by this cape. The fabric is thin, with a very, very factory-looking cut, and with where it's attached, it doesn't quite give me the impression this is a Batman cape. So this is very disappointing, but not at all why I bought the set. The Penguin's a very good sculpt, similar articulation with some great accessories, including a briefcase and money to keep it in. These are great accessories I could use with just about anything. But again, this is not why I bought the set. And in case you're wondering, it's very easy to repackage the figures. So for now, we can let this be. Using the very sturdy kickstand on the motorcycle, we're going to place that right on the device here. Now, this is just molded plastic. It doesn't move. You'd have to kind of move it yourself or just move the bike, but that's okay. Oddly enough, the main action feature comes pre-assembled and ready to go. There's no instructions, and that's because everything is kinetic. You want to open this drawer, these doors, you just hit them. They snap right back into place. They're very reliable. Same with this breakaway railing. You just click it in place when you're ready to use it, and pull it out when you're not. The stairs click in place at relative ease, and they're not easy to get off either. That said, they hold exactly the way they're supposed to. This playset is all about appearances. These stairs have this weird kind of forced perspective to them, and wouldn't be the best for posing, but could work in a pinch. You can place the computer center and the lab setup any way that you want. You've got a lot of breathing room. Moment of truth. Though the Superpowers Batman does technically scale with this motorcycle, there's not a reliable way to get him on here. You can kind of sit him, but if you bend his knees, the legs come together, making it nearly impossible for him to use this bike. Bit of a disappointment, but again, not really why I got this. I wanted the platform, I wanted these pieces, and I wanted this. Scale's perfect. Looks believable. That'll do it. When you consider that I paid half of retail price for this at the time that I purchased it, and it's still going for about 3/4 of retail. This is not an expensive piece. Taking that into consideration, it's worth these 3 pieces alone. The archway is a bonus. Just to augment some Superpowers playset pieces and to have a dedicated Batcave, that's worth $20 to me. Even at the full price of $40, you can't get 3D printed pieces with that much detail that are going to work in that scale from many places, if any. Couple that with the fact that these are showing up along with other items in that line at 30, 40, 50% off on retail shelves or more. If you collect this scale, get it. It's worth it. Even if you're going to take all the parts and repaint them for a different line like G.I. Joe or something else, this will still fit in that realm. On top of that, let's not forget that cardboard background from the box you can use as a diorama piece. It's big enough that you could use it for almost any size figure and still be in keeping with the background Gotham City from the Batman. So this opens up a lot of possibilities just for the packaging alone. Never mind the specific usage case that I had for this purchase. My complaints about the cape aside, both of those figures are really well done, and there are plenty of other sets within the Spinmaster line in this scale that you should check out. There's a Commissioner Gordon with police car. There's another motorcycle set and a Batmobile set that have Catwoman and Batman with it. Those figures are a little bit different. So you can collect all the figures, or at least the main characters from the film, and have a great little world to play in, or you can repurpose it as I have. And at the time of this recording, they're not expensive to get. They're a lot of fun. They're durable, and they're just a worthwhile investment for any collector of this scale of figure. Spinmaster have knocked it out of the park with this setup. I want to congratulate them on some great engineering, some great toys that offer versatile play value for what you're paying. I also want to shout out Gojatron, who was the first person to mention this set and its compatibility with Superpowers Collection to me on top of the sale I had at the time. Thank you, my friend. I wouldn't be doing this without you. If you're on the fence, go to your local Target or Walmart, or go to Amazon or the websites. Pick one of the smaller toys from the line and dip your toe in the water. See what you think, because Spinmaster are doing something really cool with these toys, and I think they deserve a second look. Also, take the time to tell me below, if you were to get this playset and you don't collect Superpowers, what would you use it for? What kind of paint job would you give on it? What would you do with it? There's so many possibilities with these separate, pieces and diorama sets that you could do some interesting stuff with. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. For everyone watching, may all your grinds be merry, may all your card backs be straight, and may you be able to find anything you're looking for at any given time at a price you feel is reasonable, especially if it's a subterranean price. Cheers. Special thanks to our patrons and members who you're seeing on the screen now. Thank you so much for your support. It really helps.